Welcome to the Delvin Cox Experience, the podcast in which each week I am on a one-man mission to unite our culture through diversity. I am your host, Delvin Cox, and with me on this podcast today is a very special guest, someone who probably should have been on this podcast a long time ago, if I'm being honest. The man has been doing everything. He runs around in the cat suits on Twitch and everything like that. Mr. Joe after work. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I was like, oh, man, I hope he's not seen that. Yeah, he's seen it.
I've seen all of it. And that's one of the reasons why I want to have you on. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of awesome that he is so free with who he is and so secure with himself. I think that's dope. But before we get into that, as always, we start the podcast off with the 5 for 5. 5 questions, 5 answers to get the ball rolling. Joe, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Question number 1. What is the best album or song you listened to in the past year? Does not have to be new, by the way.
Does not have to be new, by the way. Okay. Ooh, I was going to say, man, I went back on a kick to like 2006, 2007 recently. And that like whole era of like me going into college music again. I don't know why.
Not a bad thing.
Be My Escape, Reliant K. I don't know. There's just something always about that song that everything in there. I guess, I don't know, because of everything that I've been going through the last few months. It's just like, oh, that's very relatable. Okay.
Yeah, it's been an interesting last few months, to say the least.
For sure.
Definitely. Question number 2. Give me your favorite video game character.
Favorite video game character. All right. This one might surprise people if for those who might know me, Metroid is my favorite series. Samus, all the way, all day, every day. She was the strong silent type. I still see her as the strong silent type heroine, but like when you play like some of the later games and like you get to know her character development, like Other M, I know that's like taboo and whatnot, and Fusion, you get to get inside her mind a little bit more, and like there's so much to that character, and I hope that they eventually, like, whenever this next Metroid game comes out, I hope they
2030.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, dude, at this rate, it's like Kingdom Hearts. Yeah. We'll be waiting like 40 years for the sequel.
Yes. I'm very sorry, Joe. I was on a podcast now a month ago called the Who Would Win Show. And it's like a versus podcast where you have to, like, they put 2 characters from fiction or pop culture against each other. And I was a judge. And the battle was Samus versus Vision.
Oh.
Right? I feel like that's right. Yes, it was Samus versus Vision. And I had to decide, because of the argument, I had to pick Vision.
I mean, I think I would have picked Vision too to win that. Like OP.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
I don't feel so bad now.
Yeah. Oh man.
All right. Question number 3. What was the dumbest thing you've done as a kid?
Oh man. All right.
Don't say this will get us both arrested, by the way.
No. I have the perfect story for this. I may have said this story before once upon a time or very briefly, but when I was like 3, 4, it had to have been 4 because I remember I clearly remembered the memory. I stuck a battery up my nose, and it wasn't just like, Duracell AA AAA. No, you remember the cell batteries that were like in those handheld McDonald's games, those cheap.
The one that kills kids all the time. Like that is 100% a thing.
So I took the battery out of one of those things and I put it up my nose.
That wasn't smart. Like, kids literally die from that. And you're trying to be one of those kids.
Man, my life has been dodging bullets left and right.
I see, because it's funny you should mention, I just saw an article about, it's an article or a news report about some lady whose child died from eating one of those batteries.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, she's trying to get those batteries completely banned.
Dude. Oh man. I mean, what? They're only in like remotes like this at this point, right?
Yeah, it feels like they're not even needed anymore. Like you can probably like put better batteries in equipment. Now I know they use it for car keys and things like
Yeah.
that. But even with that, you can probably like put a different battery in there. And kids won't eat.
And recharge it now. That's what everyone's doing now, right?
Yeah, it's just crazy that you should mention that. But yeah, that's a thing. That's a common occurrence apparently for people to do stuff like that.
Yeah. The doctor, they had to take me to the doctor to get the battery out because that's how far I lodged it in.
Jesus.
Yeah, the long lasting repercussions is I have a deviated septum from it.
That sucks.
Yeah. So apparently I must have done a surgery at some point because my doctor said that they do see scarring over there from what could have potentially been like something done in there to help with it. Because I guess maybe the acid from the battery burned through or whatever, which is very possible.
Yeah.
4 years old. I don't know. But every time I get asked about, from like an ENT, like a ear, nose, throat doctor or whatever, like, you know, you have a deviated septum, right? I was like, yeah. And then I always have to tell them the story. They're like, yeah, your hole is that of like someone of a drug user. You don't do drugs, right? I'm like, no, 100%. I have not done anything. Like, this is the story. I'm not lying.
This is the honest truth. I've never done drugs.
I'm an idiot. I just stuck a battery on my nose.
I was just a dumb kid.
Exactly. Like, listen, believe me, I would have been honest with you.
If I was doing drugs, I would have offered you some a long time ago.
My backpack or something, you know, like you know.
Question number 4. Give me your top 5 video games.
Oh man. Okay. This is gonna be hard because this changes for me constantly, but it's the same like subset of video games. The ones that I always have to add in: Resident Evil 2.
Great game.
Yes. Oh my god. Final Fantasy 6.
Okay. I don't think I never played that one.
Oh man, dude. Woo. So good. So good. Oh man, see, and this is where it's gonna flip because I go between Fusion and Super all the time. I think today I'll say Super Metroid.
That's a great game. I have played that one.
So good, so good. I am the weirdo that grew up playing a lot of Game Boy games because I was very much handheld device to myself with the headphones, and you know how kids today have the iPads. I had the thick brick Game Boy, and I was that kid.
That's why I wear glasses, because Game Boy's terrible screen back in the day.
Oh man, the green. Oh my god, dude. Link's Awakening. That is my favorite Legend of Zelda game. That stands everything to me personally. Like, that is my top right there. And then, of course, if we're gonna continue with the Game Boy, I gotta go Pokemon Silver, because
Silver, okay.
Yeah, I would say Red is like, Red stands its own. It's in its own thing. Like, that's nostalgia for me. It'll stand its own test of time for me. But Silver and Gold, like that changed things. They added Kanto into there. There was just like 2 different leagues. Everything about it is just like, that's the game right there.
Yeah, those were great games, to say the least. Those were when I used to play Pokemon a lot back then.
It's like Definitive Edition today, but they did it with that.
Definitely. All right. Question number 5, Joe. Zombie apocalypse happens, Walking Dead style. We're at the beginning stages of it. You can take 5 things for you to go out in the world to survive. Anything you want. Family and pets don't count because they come with you. What are you taking to go survive?
Oh man. Okay. Shoot. This is hard. I gotta go. All right. I mean, if we gotta go essentials, gotta bring my water.
Okay.
Probably gonna wear shorts because although
you see those legs.
You know, yeah, I know. That's the risk. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh man, but I feel like I can move faster if I'm in like, you know, less clothing, so to speak.
Okay, let me ask you this: what area are you in? Is it a place that snows a lot?
It doesn't snow a lot, but when it snows enough. So I'm in New York City, so I'm like, I
Oh,
feel like I'm screwed either way in this apocalypse situation.
yeah, you're in bad shape. Yeah, that's what you
Zero
say.
over here.
Yeah, you're in bad shape. Yeah,
Yeah. It's like I walk outside, that's it, I'm done.
yeah. New York City streets are quite. New York streets are quite crowded. So yeah, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah. Oh man. Even with things coming back to normal, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If I got to pack a game with me, I'll probably take my 3DS. I'm looking at it right now. It's the first thing I saw.
Well,
Just
that sucker's durable, so that's good.
you know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, the clamshell right here. I'm good. I'm good to go. That's three, right?
That's three.
Oh, two more. Oh man. You know what? My guitar. I'll bring my guitar because not only can I play it, I can use it as a weapon as well. It might be a one-use item, but at least you know what? It might get me away in a clutch situation.
Okay, the guitar.
And third one, fifth one. Sorry, third. Ooh, oh man, I ain't got much here to work with.
Anything you want to take, anything, doesn't matter. You don't have to have it in your house.
Oh, doesn't have to be. Oh,
yeah,
man.
anything. That's the key word. Anything.
99-cent store downstairs. They have all those shopping carts right at the front. Just grab one of them. WWE on this. Let's go.
That's awesome. So, Joe, for those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself for those who don't know.
Yeah, so I'm pretty much primarily on Twitch. And so for the last few years, I started originally on YouTube, but moved over to Twitch probably a year or so after I started back in 2015. But I'm a variety streamer. I play a lot of Nintendo games, and I meme around a lot. And as Delvin already mentioned, I sometimes get a little wild, and you know, we put ourselves in promiscuous situations, such as this cat suit and
the what is it? B2 from
yeah, 2B from
yeah.
I'm working on a Hades one right now, actually. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, no, yeah, that's really me in a nutshell, and playing games after work.
I've always appreciated you because you seem so carefree and happy, and you're not afraid to try things. And I was like, when I saw you in the B2, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, and then you do your little skits and things like that. I thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah, man. Everything is like off the top of the head for the most part, or like I'll say something stupid in stream, and chat will be like, "No, you should do it. You should do it." I was like, "Well, okay, let's think about this logically. Are we actually going to do this? Or are you just saying things just to say things?" And then like, that's how kind of the cat made suit thing kind of came into place.
So let me ask you this first and foremost: how did you get the suit? Did you come up with the suit yourself? Did you say, let me go check on Amazon and go get this suit?
So it was funny. So this was only a few months ago. This is like January. We were talking something random in chat. Like, this is how random chat can get on stream sometimes. Someone mentioned something about cat maids, and it spiraled into this whole thing of how I should be in a cat maid outfit. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'll put it up on a wish list. You won't buy it. You won't buy it.
How did this become a topic of conversation? Well, they're like, hey, let's get Joe in a cat maid outfit.
I don't even remember what we were playing that the cat came. We must have been talking about Super Mario 3D World and the cats there. That had to have been, like, my memory's so fuzzy on how that whole situation came. I just remember I then went on Twitter and added Ming is a member of the community. Like, we know her from like a bunch of other different streamers and whatnot. And she mods for a bunch of different people, but she called me out on it, and then I was like, no, you won't buy it. You won't buy it. So then on Twitter, I put her on blast. I was like, there we go. It's in the cart. There's the link. What's up? And she got it, and we did the whole thing on TikTok, and we wore it on stream, and that was kind of it. And now everyone kind of knows me as the cat maid. And then spiraled to like only a few weeks ago where myself and a few other part of a Twitch team, Andromeda Arcade, and everyone that we were playing Dead by Daylight with was also dressed up as cat maids as well. So it's like grown into this whole thing of madness, and here we are now.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. So let me ask you, what first got you into streaming? What was the first idea? What made you say, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, so for me, it was easier to do streaming than recording gameplay videos, because it was like always trying to come up with schedules to like when I'd be able to record, because at the time I was living in a place where it was myself, my ex at the time, my ex, and her mom, and she'd get home from work, I'd try to record, and then like there'd be just like, it's like too many variables going on. So like streaming helped in the sense that I can just kind of start that up whenever and just record it and then edit the videos later when I don't need everything out and about, and just
do you remember
afterwards?
The first streamer that you started watching and that made you want to say, this is something I want to do?
First streamer? Not, it's funny, like I jumped into the whole Twitch thing, like I would watch Justin TV, but I would just watch random people, and if I like tried to like name people, I don't even like recall names or anything. I just remember watching different streamers doing like different charity events, or like we're raising money for like being able for just them to pay rent and stuff like that. It was just like random stuff, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And I had done like a couple live streams before when I was just doing music stuff on YouTube. And like I did that through I think it was Ustream at the time. I don't even know if they're still around anymore, but like
I'm almost certain they're not.
Yeah,
that was a while back. Yeah, Ustream,
like 2011, 2012, I want to say.
Might be. Now I gotta look it up.
Yeah, because it's not even on the PlayStation app anymore. But like I started then, and so I was definitely more heavy on the YouTube side than anything, because like I followed the Kind of Funny guys. I loved listening to podcast Beyond with Greg and Colin at the time, and like that was kind of my foray into like getting back into content creation and like being a little bit more creative, because I hadn't been doing music at the time. So I was like, you know what? Well, let me flip that to video games and see what happens, where it goes and whatnot. And that was almost 6 years ago now, I want to say. 2015.
Yeah, well, Ustream is definitely not around anymore, because I can't even find any information on it. But yeah, I think a lot of people got into streaming and things like that because of Colin and Greg and Podcast Beyond and things like that. It's cool that show has so many offsprings of other shows and other content creators because of what they did and what they brought into the game.
Can I pause 1 second? I completely forgot I left water on the pot for a tea that I did not make, and that's what I'm smelling. Speaking of stupid things that I did that I wasn't for.
So Joe almost burnt down his house just now. So let me ask you this, Joe. Your Twitch stream, how often do you Twitch stream, for one thing?
So right now I'm mostly Monday through Friday. For 4 or 5 hours at a time after 5 o'clock. But lately I've been diving in and doing some weekend streams here and there. So it's almost been every day the last couple of months, but mainly, I try to stick to like 4 or 5 days a week.
So what's that like? What's that process like of doing it, just streaming every day and having a commitment to do that, for one thing?
It's I don't recommend it unless you have the bandwidth to do it. That's definitely the first thing for sure. You gotta take care of yourself before anything else. For me, my days always start, so like I'm lucky enough that I have a Monday to Friday job, and like I'm up at 6 a.m. in the morning, and then I get out of work at 3. I'm like half and half right now between like being on site and work from home, so it kind of helps with that stuff and being able to like just balance things a little bit better. And then, I got that 2 hours in between to like get ready and, do what I got to do in between before stream time. And then from 5 until 10 o'clock, it's just go time. And then right afterwards, I'm either like checking back on things, seeing what I can do to make the streams a little bit better. If I have, usually I'll like be writing like a million things in this book over here to just make sure I stay on top of everything.
So now I got to ask you this, because people ask me the same question all the time when I tell them how often I podcast and record, how many hours and editing and stuff like that. When do you have time for yourself, sir?
I mean, to me, this is for myself, to be honest. Like, I'm having a blast just hanging around. Like, yes, jobs shouldn't feel like a job if you're enjoying it, but like, yeah, at the end of the day, it's kind of like a second job almost, like setting up and making sure everything is constantly running and like keeping on a schedule and whatnot. But like, I love this stuff. Like, it's it's freaking a blast. So like, I'm enjoying myself. There are days where it's like, all right, like I just need to like have a break and like not do something. So like, I'll cancel a stream here and there. But like, that's the like awesome part of like building communities and having communities that are super supportive, because like they understand that stuff. And I feel like that's more understanding today than it was like 5-6 years ago, where like it was just like you miss a day and everyone's just like, all right, well, this dude has stopped, and they move on to the next person, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of a common thing with podcasts too. You don't want to miss weeks or anything like that because your audience disappears.
Yeah, it's really interesting. But I feel like, yeah, like nowadays, slowly but surely, I feel like more and more communities are like becoming more understanding of it, and like, like, hey, no, you need a break, like do what you need to do.
So what is it like building your own community of people that support you and check out your streams and things like that? It has to be awesome to see it grow, for one thing.
It's been interesting. This has been like an interesting year so far. Like, we've been like slowly growing like little by little, and it's kind of crazy. Like the past like month or two now, like we've been like holding like 30 people on stream for like the full like 4 or 5 hours that I'll be streaming at a time. Like, whoa, that's interesting. And like, I don't notice it until like, I usually keep most of that stuff closed until the end, and then like I'll look at things like at the end of the week. I'm like, oh shit, excuse me, sorry, I don't know if
it's fine.
I'll be like, oh wow, yeah, like what the hell, really? Oh, okay, I guess we'll keep doing more of this for now and see where it goes, and then I'll like plan my stuff around certain series and whatnot.
It's the cat suit. you inadvertently
that might play part into
you inadvertently became a titty streamer.
Oh man, if this is what it takes. Oh man, no, but I mean, honestly, I'm super thankful for all the new people that like I've met over these last few months. Like, I joined Andromeda Arcade, which is a Twitch team that one of my friends runs, Kim Amethyst, and like she's been slowly growing this team, and she like really grew crazy heavy during the Animal Crossing and New Horizons, when that like finally launched and whatnot, and it was just like starting to really skyrocket. And like she got partnership from Twitch over that, and she started this team, and like everyone that's on that team has been like super like high quality streamers and just like overall awesome personalities and always doing good. So like getting to meet all those people, I feel like also helps too. Is like, we're not trying to compete with each other. We're all just like enjoying each other's company. And like, that's the more important part for me, is just like, getting to meet new people and hanging out with them.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Let me ask you this, because I think this is an interesting question for you. How do you think the pandemic has affected your streaming? Because it seems like more people are going towards streams and things like that because they're stuck at home.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, it's funny because like, well, not funny, but like before the pre-pandemic, right? Like, you have all your morning streamers that like come on in and stream, and people normally have that streamer in the background while they're doing something at work. I was one of those people. I used to watch Hyrule Gaming Group every morning because like that'd be my morning entertainment. I get into work at 7, I do what I got to do, and then I have Hyrule Gaming on my earphones while I'm like getting my job done. And that'd be like from like anywhere from like 7 to 11 before things started to get crazy that I had to pop out my earphones. But like I wouldn't really talk. I would just listen to the streams and whatnot, and he'd be playing, you know, Animal Crossing or a retro game or something like that, or Stardew Valley, and that was kind of it. But now I notice a lot more people that are able to stream in the mornings, whether it's because of their job or if, you know, they unfortunately lost a job and made Twitch their own thing, streaming like these, you know, these morning to afternoon hours. But then you have the people that are working from home that are also able to interact because they're multitasking and they're working and they're talking in chat, and just like that interactivity has, I feel like, increased more so because of the pandemic, for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. Let me ask you this. How do you pick the game you're going to play for stream? Because I know some streamers pick specific games because they're popular on the stream. And how do you choose your games to play?
Yeah, for me personally, it's based off like what I'm feeling, but like I'll try to make it into a thing. So like right now, I for the longest time I'd been holding off Twilight Princess. Never got to like beat that game. That game has been like on my eye since I bought it. And I bought it like a few years ago, and every time I jumped into it, it was just like I stopped because something else was out, right? And I was like, all right, you know what? We're gonna start here. And then we started playing Twilight Princess on stream. And as we were going through, we were like, hey, are you gonna play any of the other Zelda games? And I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, let's make this a whole thing. Let's, you know, it's his 35th anniversary. Why the heck not? You know, I think we've all been Mario'd out by this point with the 35th anniversary stuff. He dies in a few days, like, you know.
Yeah, rest in peace, Mario.
You know. And so freaking I was just like, all right, let's keep it going. I throw up voting polls. I'm like, all right, which Zelda game we're playing? All right, boom, let's do it. So like I try to get the community involved in what the games that we're going to be playing. And so now, you know, although we're focusing on knowing that it's going to be a Zelda game that we'll be playing, I let them choose which one, and then we go from there, sort of thing. So now we knocked out Minish Cap. We're playing Skyward Sword right now, and the Wiimote has been actually like functioning for me. It's interesting. Oh man, but yeah, no, I try to like build out series out of like the games that I've been playing lately, and that seems to be what's been working.
So will you be wearing a Link outfit on the stream?
Funny, you should mention that.
Oh.
We had put up a sub goal for a Twilight Princess cosplay, and we had hit it. And so I believe I got to go back on the voting results, but I think I have to cosplay as the postman from Twilight Princess that like comes running at Link! And like he's like huffing and puffing and like giving you the mail. So I do have to cosplay as the postman. It was that or mid. So I was like, you know what? That's an easy one. I'll take that any day. It never ends.
That's awesome.
Oh,
so let me ask you another funny question. When are you going to play the 3DO games?
The 3DO, oh man, dude, are those even accessible?
What is it? Wand of Gamelon or something like that?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. Man, I don't even know if I have access to that. There's got to be a way to play those, right?
It has to be an emulator or something for those games.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. It's like I've half jokingly brought those up. Maybe we do it for like a joke stream or something like that. Oh man, that'll be something else.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the voice acting in that, they gave Link a voice and everything.
I remember those games very well because when I was a kid, I wanted the 3DO until I saw that. Like, nah.
Oh.
I'm like, nah, I'm okay on this.
Like, you know what? I'll take a hard pass on that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't need this system that bad.
Excuse me.
So let me ask you this. Where's your love for gaming come from?
Man, my earliest memory was me with my older brother. He had the NES, and I just remember like very vaguely the first like gaming memory for me is Double Dragon: The Revenge on the NES, and like me playing with my brother during like birthday parties and stuff like that.
Great game.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Like anytime that game drops on a console, like I'm just like, oh man, hold on, where's my money?
Yeah.
Here. So it's like it's that bad of a nostalgia thing for me that I have to buy it every time.
Ah, yeah, I feel you on that. That's a really good Double Dragon game. I remember playing that all the time when I was younger.
Yeah, man, dude. Oh, that and 3 were like two of my favorites. And
Yeah,
then I found out.
3 was really cool because if I remember correctly, you could play as different characters in it, and they
Yeah,
all had different abilities.
yeah. And that was the good thing about 4 when that dropped. Like, it's not the best Double Dragon by any means, but like they threw in a thing where you can unlock like playing as Adobo and all the bosses and whatnot, the Vader looking dude with the, with the stick and all that. So I thought that that was really cool. And like they went on a whole extensive thing, but yeah, no, that one's not like, you know, they tried.
Yeah, they got the Super Nintendo and just.
Yeah.
I guess they realized Final Fight was a thing, so said, "Never mind, we don't have to try that hard."
Oh my goodness! But
let me
hey,
ask, let me ask you about this, because you're also a musician. So, because you mentioned earlier that you used to play music on YouTube. What was that like?
I mean, that wasn't like for me doing that on YouTube was more just like throwing some things on it. Like it's still there under a different name, but like people can find it if they look hard enough.
So you were playing the guitar, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it was good on guitar on stream, but I mean on YouTube, but like that wasn't anything crazy there because it was more like I went to college for audio engineering and I have my associate's degree in that. I never continued because college is expensive and
Very.
you wanted 40,000 and they said I made too much and this was when I was working part-time as a sales in at Apple retail. But I was like, really? I'm only making like $11 an hour. How am I making enough to not get financial aid? But
That's
whatever
crazy.
it is. Yeah. So I ended up not going there for that. I got in, I did my auditions and everything. They make you do auditions and play songs and whatnot to make sure you know you're not BSing your way through this. And that was it. I was like, all right, yeah, nah. And then the stock market crash. That was the whole big thing in 2008.
Yeah, I remember that very well.
Session. And so no one was hiring interns for anything. So I just stayed on at my job and kind of went from there. And then I started writing my own music from there and like, you know, taking what I learned from school essentially and trying to put out my own music for the most part. And that was for a little while, but that I played in a band, did some solo stuff for myself, but like again, it wasn't anything too crazy. For the most part, like my 9 to 5 job, quote unquote, was was paying the bills.
So what? Yeah. Tell me about the band you played in. You can't just I played in the band.
You know, it's funny. I looked them up on Spotify a couple months ago, and the album's still on there, but I don't think they're doing anything. Riot in Paris, but it's spelled Riot with an exclamation point to it.
That's a good name.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It's like the songs that you'll hear on there are mostly like samples from the original bands that did it, but we played them live. So it was like me and a few of my friends playing with the people that were looking for, you know, musicians and whatnot. So like slowly we all brought in people that we knew, and it was like, oh, okay, yeah, we jive with everyone here and have a fucking good time, you know? So
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
man, that was a fun year. That was I was in there for like a year, I want to say. Before that they did the name change. Originally they were the Freshmen, and that was, you know, it was kind of what you started to hear like in the 2010 to 2015s where it was a lot more of like the alternative indie rock with hip hop put in together and whatnot. So it was very much that style of like Gym Class Heroes, I guess you can say, if you want to make a reference sort of
Okay.
around that stuff. Yeah, that like very experimental indie hip hop fusion altogether.
So I gotta ask this then. Would you want to do it again?
I wouldn't not say no. It's like funny. I feel like you're reading my mind right now. This is crazy. So one of like my plans for this year is to like start getting back into music, start writing things again, and also trying to do that. Ultimately, it would be with the goal of putting out this album that I never got to finish writing, or I really just I didn't get to. I stopped. I was just like I was done with it, and I still have all those files, but I want to redo them over and do some new stuff and just have that out as like, okay, I can finally put that to rest and like have that done and then start fresh. But more on gaming side of it, I would want to like do some music stuff that would be gaming related covers and whatnot, like my takes on video game music and whatnot. So like
That'd be cool.
yeah, like there's a lot of stuff. Like Fire Emblem is the first thing that comes to mind. I don't feel like enough people do Fire Emblem music, and there's some amazing songs with lyrics in them. Like the intro to Three Houses, Fates has an amazing one that Azura sings. I'm just like, why are more people not? There's so much opportunity there.
Definitely. So let me ask you about this then. Have you ever thought about playing your guitar on stream?
Yes, yeah. We recently, so like with Twitch, you can do as like people are watching, they can accrue points, and we call our points our channel points in their overtime hours.
Okay.
So as they're accruing those overtime hours, they can put them in towards like different redemptions. So like I have things like people can that like put a fart on the screen or whatever, and like it'll make a fart sound while I'm playing a game, or it's like that. But you can also do these community goals as well, and you set the bar for like how many overtime hours do people need to put in collectively as a community to make this happen. And that's kind of also a way to like you can use that to like gauge like what game you want people to play, and like whichever one gets there first, that's the game that you play. But what I did with that last month, or actually sorry, it's not even April yet. The first week of March, I put up the goal for doing a music live stream. And within that week, it was already filled. And I had put it at like 100,000 overtime hours or something like that. Something ridiculous. I was like, okay, this should take like 30 days to fill up. We'll be good. And within that week, they filled it up. And I was like, so that's what I'm currently planning right now is setting that up and getting that going for April.
That's gonna be cool.
I'm excited.
Any idea what you're gonna play?
Yeah, I'm gonna play some old stuff, and then I'm also gonna do some covers and whatnot. But I'm gonna try to set it up in a way. You're getting the exclusive now. And try to set it up in a way where like I'm also like playing stuff on keys and having MIDI drums and whatnot, and put them all together and whatnot, and really make it feel like a live band feel, but it's just me playing. So I got a lot of work ahead, but I miss it that much that I want to put the work into it.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So let me ask you about this then. What is your dream goal for your Twitch stream?
Oh man. Dude, if we somehow hit Twitch partner this year, that would be amazing. That's probably my next goal, is to try to become Twitch partner. That's right now the only thing. They're like Twitch has changed a lot over the years, and they got to a point where they started setting up achievements so you can like keep track of your progress and whatnot. I try not to look at it all that much, because then it really gets into your head sometimes, and it's just like like you start to doubt yourself on certain things. So like I try to stay away from that and look at it every now and again. But the viewer average is 75 to at least apply for Twitch partnerships. So where we stand right now is still a ways away, But the fact that we're slowly growing and whatnot, I'm like, I'm thankful for everything that we have going on right now, because this is the most active that the community has ever been. And I'm just happy that, everyone's having a good time. That's, as long as that's happening, that's great. But if we happen to hit Twitch partner this year and be able to apply for it, like not even get it, apply, that would be amazing.
That would definitely be awesome.
Yeah.
My final question for you.
Ooh.
Not a question, it's a comment, really. Give me an interesting Twitch story or a funny one. It's happened to you while you're Twitch streaming.
Like the cat-made outfit should have been this one.
Yeah, that's one of them.
That's one of them. Oh man, funny Twitch story. Shoot. Well, I mean, I'm sure I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I know that immediately if I look at a clip on Twitch that someone has maybe made, there's probably a story to it. Like earlier today. Oh, there we go. Yeah, earlier, just before I got offline, we were talking about almond milk for some reason, and
now you're gonna dress like a carton of milk.
Listen, don't tempt me. I'll do it. Whatchamacallit? And someone said that there was no almond milk is not nut milk is not milk, and I was like, this is where I like to egg people on sometimes, and this is why I get myself in trouble a lot. But I I had said, well, milk is in the name, right? Like, hold on, I'll be right back. And someone said, and before like I left, someone had said, now I'm just picturing Joe trying to use tweezers to milk an almond. And so I ran to the bathroom. I think my tweezers are still here. I grabbed the bag of almonds from the kitchen. I brought it over and I was like, well, I'm going to show you all right now how to milk a nut. And so I went and grabbed the almond nut and I squeezed it so hard it like hit me in the face. Yep. That's my community in a nutshell.
Yeah, that story is so funny on so many different levels.
Oh man, so yeah, that clip will be shared around for a bit, I'm sure.
Yeah. Joe out here showing people how to milk nuts.
Yeah, Oh my gosh.
That is the perfect way to end this episode, man. This has been a blast.
Dude, this was awesome, dude.
Definitely. I agree. Let them know where to find your stuff at for those who don't know.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, if you search up anything Joe After Work, J-O After Work, you'll find me. Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. Everything is Joe After Work. I'm very easy to find.
Help this brother get to 75. Right, 75, right?
The viewer average is 75. Yes, yeah.
Help him get to the viewer average of 75 so he can get affiliated, so he can start wearing more cat outfits, dressing like other video game characters. Mario, Luigi, Toad, Samus.
You would think Mario would have been the first one, right? We went straight for it.
No, they chose the cat-made outfit.
Oh man, this was my fate. This is my destiny.
This has been a blast, brother. And as always, Delvin Cox Experience, we are out. Peace.
That was awesome, man.